This box has a lot of brood in it. I went through it, made sure there was no queen in it, put a queen escape on to keep her from coming up from these two boxes. Hi ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jake and this is Mrs. Jake, and you are tuned into another video of GD Honey Acres where we are getting into our bees. So here's the deal. Yesterday was the first day of fall. What does that mean for us as beekeepers? That means we need to start condensing our hives down, getting all the supers off and getting them prepared for winter. What's the first step we're taking today, Mrs. Jake?
We're going to go through and put in some escape boards.
Right here, these are escape boards. We have two currently. I am actually liking these wooden ones a lot more. I did not build these, I bought these. I figured just for my time and money, it was way cheaper for me to just buy these. So, do you remember how we put these on?
This side up.
Yep, this side up facing the supers, this side down facing the brood chamber. The trick with putting escape boards on is you got to make sure you are basically sealed all the way around so bees can't get back into the supers. So they will escape through the bottom here. There's an exit all around this triangle here, here, and here that they will get out, but for some reason the bees can't figure out how to get back up. So we're going to go ahead, go through our supers. Hopefully we won't have any brood in them and put these underneath all of our supers.
So if we do find brood above them, what are we going to do?
So in 2 days, if we do find brood, we'll try to get them down in the brood chamber itself. But for some reason, if we miss them or miss the queen, she will still be up in the supers, but there will be bees up there. That's what I've found in the past. We have found that, the word is escaping me, the nurse bees. The nurse bees will tend to stay up there with the queen, I have found. So then it's really easy to find her because all the worker bees have left, but the nurse bees are still with her and taking care of the queen and the brood, and then it's really super easy to get them separated back down into the hive. So in about 2 days time, which will be a Tuesday for us, we will be pulling supers off and preparing to harvest our last bit of honey for this year. And I'm excited for that. Hopefully we'll get another bucket. That's all I'm hoping for is a bucket. I'm not hoping for much. We're in a drought this year. We already did pull some honey for this year, and we got about 1.5 buckets. When I say a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket, where I got a 5-gallon bucket and a half of honey.
Well, didn't you pull off 3 more boxes?
I did, but I haven't harvested them yet.
So what are you anticipating getting from those 3 boxes?
From those 3 boxes, hopefully a 5-gallon pail.
Okay.
But so if you haven't done so yet and you still have supers on, I highly recommend at this time to get those supers pulled off or get ready to pull them off by using escape boards underneath. You'll want to make sure you get all your bees out of the supers before harvesting as usual, but condense them hives down. Check out your food stores after you got them condensed down to see how that brood chamber's doing. Look at your weather, the monthly report, see how it's going to be for the next month, 2 months, and decide if you need to feed your bees or not. Right now it's,
Treat for mites.
Yeah, you will also need to treat for mites. And I recommend doing that before feeding the bees. Follow all your directions for whatever mite treatment you're using. We will be using the formic acid, Formic Pro, and that one's a real simple way to do it. The gist of how we do things is basically we follow the instructions, but the gist of it is we put an empty box on top of the brood chambers, pull the entrance reducer, and make sure that all openings and entrances and such are open, so it gives a way for that gas, for that acid to off gas. Formic is a natural acid. Bees produce it. It's in such a concentration that all the varroa die from it, but the bees survive for the most part as long as you follow your instructions. We also make sure we are at minimum, at most, like 80-degree days.
Yeah.
We found, I think on the instructions it says 85 to 90 is okay, but I don't like that. We found that that's still too hot. That's just us. Follow your instructions, follow the directions, do what it says, and you should be good to go. We do have videos of us putting Formic Pro down. I'll probably make another one this year just to show the process again. But for now, we're gonna get in there, we're gonna condense our hives. Anything else, Mrs. Jake, that you got on your mind? Questions? Nope. All right, let's get in there. All right, now the only sucky thing about condensing hives is we got to pull all of these supers off to put the bee escape down. So we're going to do that. We're going to kind of peek in, see how everything is. Hopefully, last time we were in here, these were all getting filled and about partially capped. Hopefully the girls finished capping everything off. Right now we are about midday, mid-afternoon. So most of the workers should be out foraging currently. That's why it's so quiet in the apiary currently. So we're going to get started and get rocking. Mr. Jake, you going to start back there?
Maybe.
Wow, look at that huge praying mantis. Hold up. Y'all, there's a giant mantis over here. I'm going to get you to it. It's on the front of that box. All right, Mr. Jake. Look at that thing.
Oh, wow. Didn't even notice it.
Put your hand here so people can see how big it is. Look how big that mantis is. That is awesome. Besides the fact that she's probably been eating our girls.
Yeah.
I've never seen one that big here. All right, real quick, we do have a hive here that has nothing in it. This is one that, they swarmed on us? If I remember correctly, they swarmed on us. They didn't have a queen. We tried to give them eggs a couple times, and sometimes that just doesn't help. Sometimes they just don't take the eggs and end up failing. So now we are for sure down to 8 hives. Now we'll just move on. No real big deal. We have wax drawn out, frames drawn out for next year.
Yeah.
That's how you got to look at it. You can't just look at things as a failure. You got to look at things like, hey, okay, so this hive didn't survive. We'll have it for next year. They swarm themselves to death is what happened. That happens sometimes with colonies, is they will just keep swarming, and then they won't accept any eggs because they didn't choose the eggs. Even if you take just eggs out of another hive, they're like, hey, we didn't make these, we're not going to choose any of these as a queen. That happened last year as well with one of our colonies. So it's not uncommon, it will happen. All right, let's keep going. No, that is not a happy hive.
Okay, so these guys are so chill and quiet, but they're kind of clustered here. Do we want to pull out like the frames that they seem to be clustered on just to see?
We could. There is some brood in this one. I'm not seeing eggs, but I am seeing brood. Alright guys, my plan has changed with this hive. What I'm going to do, because about every frame in this third box has brood in it. So what Mrs. Jake is doing now, she's grabbing me another box, and I will use that box to put frames in it that I haven't found the queen on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put an excluder, a queen excluder, underneath this third box to keep her out of it. And then we will put a bee escape on top of this one, so that way all the worker bees that are in this that are going to hatch are going to go out, but they can't go up into these 3 empty, or these 3 supers that have honey in them. Alright, queen escape, queen excluder. We'll do it this way. Going on. That's why you put the so I put it on upside down, and then you block that upper entrance with the outer, the telescoping cover. So you have it all the way against that top one. Okay, real quick. To recap on this colony, this is that swarm, giant swarm colony that moved in, that we captured right in front of where this hive is sitting. Next year, this colony will probably get moved back onto one of the stands. But this box has a lot of brood in it. I went through it, made sure there was no queen in it, put a queen escape on to keep her from coming up from these two boxes. Then on top of this box, I went ahead and put a bee escape, so all these bees can only go out and not back up in. These three boxes are honey supers, meaning this is where all our honey is in the hives. On top of that, we took the inner cover, flipped it upside down, had the upper entrance in the rear flush with this box, and shoved the telescoping lid right against that upper entrance. That way the bees can't get in. Then what you do is you look around your hive, make sure you have no holes. If you do, you might need to go get some duct tape and close off those holes. And I think there's one hive that we might have to do that to.
That's one.
Now this one right here with a big number 3 on it might need that duct tape. So we're gonna keep rolling. Mrs. Jake, she already has 2 hives with bee escapes on it compared to my 1.
They were really little though, and very calm.
Well, she's ahead of me, so we're gonna keep working. Hey, Mrs. Jake, how tall are you?
5'6".
Look how tall that hive is.
Well, let me get up here. There.
Okay.
A little over 4 foot.
All right, let's get into Miss Pissy Pants Sophia.
Prolific problem child.
Yep. And here's part of our problem with this problem child. There's an entrance here. There's an entrance here. And she has another one on the back that they chewed through the wood.
Right here.
Pretty dumb. And then on this escape here, I had to go ahead and we just kind of duct tape down some parts that might have been a little loose. So that'll be fine. It'll hold. All right, let's get cracking. You want me to get in on her? All right, Mrs. Jake, what happened?
What do you mean?
With all this, how'd it go?
Oh, I think they saw everything.
Think they saw it all?
Yeah.
Tell them what all we had to do extra with Mrs. Sophia back there, Miss Sophia.
Not much. Just she's got a lot of extra entrances that they made themselves, so we had to use duct tape to cover them.
Lots of duct tape, including all around that entire inner cover.
They're not happy that their extra entrances are gone.
Now you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see in the video, but right there at the top of Sophia, there's a whole bunch of them clustered, running around, trying to figure out how to get into the hive, because that's where their entrances were. They had one right there in the front, one up top, And then like 2 more on the front that we had to cover up with duct tape to keep them out. That way the bee escapes, can work correctly in driving the population down. One thing we did notice on Sophia is I saw hive beetles, which is kind of a little more rare the further north you get. So I'd say this is really the first time I've ever seen that many. I saw a couple last year, but that was it. I killed 4 of them just now, so that's probably the most we've seen. All you southerners, you deal with them a lot more than we do, so I'm sorry about that. But here's the thing, condensing the hives down like we were doing, that will enable that population of bees to get in a more confined space. They'll deal with that hive beetle population no problem. There's a lot of population in that colony right now. It looked like they probably used most of their food stores. Mrs. Jake, what'd you see on that other one back there that you went through almost down in the deep box on that Saskatraz colony?
So yeah, they've already condensed down a lot. The top still has some honey stores. It's not completely full, but full enough. And then the 2 below it are actually like pretty much empty. So it's a good thing that we're planning to condense them because they don't have the population to work with all of that anymore.
And then you got into that upper brood box and you started seeing honey throughout that whole thing, right?
So in the upper brood, yeah, there was honey throughout the whole thing. I didn't see any brood in that second from the bottom box.
And that's kind of what we were seeing throughout this. Most of the colonies already went through their supers and pulled out a lot of the food stores. There was a couple of these that we were definitely getting honey off of for sure, because they're better at controlling their food stores and controlling the food, the food stores. Yeah, and their extra stores. Sorry, wow. But a lot of these, they ended up using a lot of their food, which I'm totally okay with. It is always bees first, beekeepers last. Everything we do is to help the bees survive. We're down 1 colony. That one I was kind of concerned with last time I was out here anyway. They had low population. It wasn't big enough for me to really go through and add eggs if they didn't have a queen. So what I could have done is I could have combined them with another colony, but I didn't do that. Maybe I should have. Who knows? That could have been my bad. But we are down 1 colony, which is fine. We'll be able to use those boxes for next year and get another colony split right into it probably. That'll be easy. And we'll have 1 right away. So, they're being condensed. We will pull supers off in a couple days on a Tuesday after work.
Start with mite treatment.
Yep, we'll start mite treatment probably right after. As long as we have boxes. We got to make sure we have boxes for that. And then after mite treatment, what are we going to do?
Start feeding them.
We will start feeding them. We have
2 to 1.
these. Yep, we'll start feeding them 2 to 1. We have these specialized gallon buckets. We'll feed them 2 to 1 up until it's getting close to that 55-degree mark, and then we will stop feeding them, put on our shims, and give them a buttload of granulated sugar, and get a Vivaldi board on, and probably have them black plastic wrapped. And shortly thereafter, we'll wrap them in foam and be done for the year.
Probably do that in October.
Probably in October, yeah. Because right now it's still warm enough, clear through the middle of October, I believe. I'll check our weather, and we'll plan from there. So, guys, if you haven't done so, condense your hives down now. It's the first day of fall. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. Get ready for it. Be prepared. Do what you can for your bees to make sure they survive. All right. We love you guys. We'll pray for you. Continue to pray for us. Leave your comments down below. Please give us a like and subscribe. That way other people can see this. Other beekeepers can see our channel and maybe help them out. If you're a new beekeeper, we do have a honeybee education playlist. Anything that I really thought was educational is in there. It'll help you out. If you have questions, leave them down below. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a message. Whatever. I will get to them as soon as I can. I love you. We love you. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.